LoveLine is meant for an adult audience. LoveLine may contain sexually oriented content.
Listener discretion advised.
Now, here's LoveLine. 1-800-LOVE-191. With Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
What? Are you insane?
Ten, 12 years ago, we were of a mind when couples wanted to get pregnant to tell them to have sex right around the time of ovulation and then maybe a day or two later. More recent data that's come out now suggests that a lot of times, or most pregnancies, probably 70-80% of them occur if sex occurs just prior to the time of ovulation. If they have sex after ovulation, it's probably not as common. But I think in order to really address what Adam's talking about, I have to say that I think most men, at least from the work that we've done, don't even know when ovulation occurs.
Or what ovulation is.
Yeah, exactly what we're talking about. And that's why the book starts out with the very first chapter talking about pelvic anatomy and then having a short section on the menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
So that we can just make them kind of familiar with these terms. I mean, a woman wants to be able to say estrogen to her boyfriend or some other terminology that relates to her physiology without having him blast out of the room and head for the garage and, try to fix something out there.
Well, it's not that we're stupid. It's just we're not interested. I mean, speaking of the garage, we're really as interested in the vagina as women are in cars. Women drive cars. Drew, your wife relies on her car just as much as you do.
Right.
Has been driving for just as long as you have.
Right.
And most women who live in metropolitan areas do, yet they know nothing about their car, and they're not interested. And that's basically how guys approach it, although it would behoove women to learn a little something about their car, and it would behoove guys to learn a little something about the vagina.
Behoove me to learn something about the car, too.
That's, and Drew, you could learn something, too. Like where the goddamn steering wheel is. You don't know anything. You're like a chick. We're going for a nut check later.
I think I checked under the hood once with you.
Right, yeah. It took you 20 minutes to find the latch to get the hood open. Anyway.
Surprised you remember that.
So you're a gynecologist, right, Bruce?
Right.
You look at vaginas all day long. That is your gig, right?
Excuse me?
That's a fair amount of it, yeah.
And how many do you figure you look at a day? I mean, on an average day?
Well, if we're talking about a day in the office, probably 25 or 30.
25 or 30. So what is that? About 12 lineal feet of crotch. How's that work out? And there's got to be some women you're glad to see come in the office than others that's a little more difficult, right? I mean, be honest. You're a man. You know what I'm saying? Do you charge all of them the same amount? That's what I'm saying.
I work for Kaiser down in San Diego, and one of the beauties of that kind of work is I don't think about billing and payment. But to answer your question, they're all interesting and enjoyable on different levels. Certainly, some look different than others.
But it's got to be nice when you have some good looking.
Oh, Adam, give him a break.
Well, I mean,
It's obvious where you're going. All right, let it go. Man.
all right. Well, let's get back to Kaiser for a second. The Permanente part. Never been a big fan of that plan. Putting the Permanente on the hospital sign. It just sounds like you're never leaving. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know who this Permanente is. I don't know when Kaiser tacked it on there. Kaiser's been around for 50 years. The Permanente's been around for like 9 years. And I just don't know whose plan it was to put Permanente on the side of the hospital. But I would bring it up at the next meeting.
That's a good point. I've really never thought about that,
Is there
Adam,
somebody
but thank you.
named Permanente?
I hope not.
Permanente just means permanent, doesn't it?
Bruce, don't agree with him. It kind of gets him going. He might keep going.
Am I right about this?
No,
you don't
Adam.
put Permanente on the side of a goddamn hospital.
I think it's Latin for good health. Isn't that really what permanente means?
I know. I think permanent. To me, it's like you check in, you never check out. It's the Roach Motel, if you ask me. And I've never gone back to Kaiser since they put the Permanente on.
Why don't you show me your hand?
On my hand?
He's having surgery on Monday.
He's a gynecologist. I got this cyst on the palm of my hand here. I'm getting a little light surgery on Friday. Should be okay, right, Doc?
There's at least a 50-50 chance you'll come back.
Hey, those are good odds for me. Aaron,
Yeah,
you're 18.
I am. I live in Chicago, and my sister lives in New Mexico, and she's 14.
Hey, let me interrupt 1 second here before you tell the problem. Bruce is going to be on drdrew.com. He's going to have a section where he's going to be participating and writing articles. And if anybody has any further questions for Bruce, you can register at drdrew.com and go ahead and leave us questions for either me or Bruce. And we are happy to have your questions. We're trying to answer everybody's questions that come in through that.
Bruce,
drdrew.com.
have you done much retrieval work? You know, stuff getting caught up there? You know what I'm talking about? Condoms, garden implements, things that got caught up there, tampons. Do you do much of that, or is that a specialty job?
Drew, I think he's been waiting with some of these questions for a while.
No, it's just the beginning, Bruce.
That just popped into my head. Seriously.
He channels. He doesn't think about things. Just whatever comes in his mind.
Do you do much, I guess, what you call little help kind of work?
Sure.
You got to go in
occasional
after stuff?
requests for
Yeah, you have to go after stuff.
various things.
And do you have an instrument you use, or you just go in?
Yeah, we use a little instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is that thing
A
called?
little forceps,
Yeah.
a ring forceps, or something like that. And
Right. Those things you use at the carnival that drop down on the stuffed animal that you try to pull out of that little,
Right.
you work the little robotic arms.
It's like a crane.
Right. Aaron?
Yeah.
So
Go
your
ahead.
sister's 14.
Sister's 14. She lives in New Mexico. She's my half-sister on my father's side. And her mother and my father both live in New Mexico with her. And recently she had a threesome with her girlfriend and another guy. And her mother and my dad gave her permission to do this.
What?
Yeah.
Help me
well,
understand this.
How do you know about it? How do you know?
She told me. She and I are very close.
Jesus. I hope I never get that close with my sister.
You got to tell me. I don't understand the context here. Sitting at dinner, mom, dad, I need your permission, your blessing.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere for me, too.
It's like one of those field trip notes they send you home from school with.
It's the follow-up Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, her mom apparently had a lot of issues when she was growing up. And
Yeah, evidently.
She gave her daughter complete sexual freedom and
that's
endorsed that throughout her life.
But complete sexual freedom of expression is not inducing acting out behaviors.
I agree.
And that's,
Okay.
bad news for your
All right.
sister.
So anyway, your stepmom is. Wait a minute. Is it your half mom? Whatever the hell she is screwed up. She's screwing up.
She told my dad, and my dad said that my dad said, "Well, if that's what you want to do, go ahead."
Yeah,
What's up with your dad?
Well, he's the idiot who married her. What do you mean? What's
Sexual
up?
compulsive, yeah.
Yeah, your dad's a piece of work. It's a good
Right.
thing you're not living with him.
That's right.
Who are you living with?
Myself.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it.
All right, stay away from these people as much as possible.
Well, I do love them all, but
Yeah.
they she didn't go all the way. They did everything but
Okay.
have sex. But
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of wondering. She was out here for about 2 weeks afterwards on a vacation, and we were talking about it, and I was just kind of wondering what I can tell her that might dissuade her from future behavior like this.
Ask her if it made her feel good about herself.
Yeah, I did, and she said she feels great about it, doesn't regret it at all. It was a wonderful experience for her.
Tell her to listen to this show.
Yeah, they don't get it up there where she is.
Where is she? Where is she?
She's in Taos.
All right. Well, that's it. She's doomed to a life of prostitution.
You're gonna need to get her to hear the experiences of her peers. She's not going to listen to you, especially with a mom like that. You're going to have to sort of point out to her where other people have bad experiences and don't feel so good when they engage in behaviors that are acting out behavior.
Now, listen, he's not going to be able to do anything. When should a woman start going to the gynecologist?
Well, she needs a pap smear and a pelvic exam annually as soon as she becomes sexually active or 18. That's what
Or
the textbooks
18.
say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So before that, you're all right, unless you become sexually active.
I think
before 18.
if a young girl has not passed either of those milestones, but she's having a problem, if she's having a lot of pain in the pelvic area, some strange, complaint or other, then she ought to go at that time.
Adam has lots of questions about hymens.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I could do.
This is your big chance.
I was going to do the last hour in just hymens, but you want to start that now?
Go ahead.
I'd probably do an hour and 45. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to get into the hymen just yet.
You've been laying and waiting about that. You knew.
Well, we were talking about the hymen last night, and Drew brought something up that I hadn't heard before, that hymens can be sort of partially pierced and still intact and actually have holes in them. And That's how he said that's where the blood comes through when you have the, what's that there, the period, right? But is that true? I don't believe Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah?
A lot of hymens are just naturally not a perfect seal over the vagina.
And how big is your average hymen?
Big enough to cover most of the opening.
Just like 4 by 8 feet? Or how big is that? I've never seen a vagina.
2 by 3 centimeters.
2 by 3 centimeters. I only know millimeters. How many millimeters is that?
20 by 30.
20 by 30. Okay, 26 millimeters is in an inch. So it's a strong inch and a weak inch, basically. Hey, that's not bad.
When would you decide to do to assist surgical rupture?
Well, if you were, I guess, alluding to talking about a problem that could happen with hymens where the blood couldn't come out with menstrual periods. There's a condition that can result from that. So certainly if she's getting into trouble with it.
Or if we have occasionally have people describing initiating their sexual activity and not being able to because it's very painful and they're concerned there's something still there.
It's a pretty rare problem.
Right. Okay.
So all women, okay, let me get this hymen thing straight. And how far in is the hymen? I mean, can you get in there at all before running into the hymen?
You're going to need a new chapter in your book here. Can you see
whole special section on hymens.
So, I mean, soon as you go into the vagina, there's the hymen.
Pretty much right at the door.
Right at the door.
The entrance.
And the hymen is sort of like the vagina's bouncer, if you really think about it. It's like a big, fat black guy just stands in front of the door and doesn't let anybody in. And
I'm imagining a cartoon here, too.
Are all women born with the hymen, or does it start to form at some point?
They're pretty much there from birth.
It's there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then most women start their menstrual cycle before the hymen is broken, correct?
Well, again, it's not common that the hymen is a perfect seal.
Right.
So
There's holes in it.
menstrual blood can come out, and she doesn't really have a problem because it's there until she decides to become sexual, and then it can get in the way.
Right. So there's ways for it to drain off the blood through there, and that's what 90% of them.
Yeah, probably more than 95. Yeah, it's almost every.
Yeah, because otherwise, poor gal would explode. Yeah. Ann wants to know if a tampon would break it.
Probably not. It's probably not strong enough, but there's probably enough room to use one.
So
in most cases,
without breaking it.
Yeah,
you got to use the napkin, or you should use the napkin at the beginning, the pad.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a young girl a rule like that. I think she needs to do what's comfortable.
Well, if you have some hymen in you, isn't it going to be hard to get a tampon up in there?
It depends on how much it covers the opening. And again, if it's uncomfortable, then she can use a pad.
Uh-huh. Is it in poor taste to eat the hymen after it's expelled from the body?
I don't think I've ever come across that.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you say you wanted to keep yours like in a...
I'm going to put mine between the pages of a Bible.
Right.
With my daughter. And does it come out? Does it just sort of come undone, or does it come out like one piece?
No, I think it pretty much tears.
It just tears and sort of goes away?
It's a thin membrane. It's really not a real substantial structure, and in most women it doesn't cover a whole lot of room.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sometimes they can be thick and fibrous, though, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, will the normal girl, let's just say you're a virgin, you think a hymen on a normal 18-year-old would still be in place if she was a virgin, or would it just go away through some other means?
It would probably be a partial obstruction, probably less than was there when she was 12.
Right.
But still noticeable the first time she had sex, yeah.
What about at 25?
Probably not a huge change between 18 and 25.
So I always thought that, if you made it to 25 and you were still a virgin, your hymen should have been gone anyway, just through, horseback riding or something involving jungle gym or some, mishap, in a four-wheel drive automobile. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But you're saying at 25, if you're a virgin, the hymen will still be in there, or at least enough of it.
Pretty much it would still be noticeable the first time she had sex.
Do you ever do any hymen repair or reinstallation of hymens or any of that kind of work?
Never been asked to do that.
There's good money in that. That's a lot of, there's a lot of the Arab nations, but you could really, make some serious money doing that. Have you heard of that?
No, actually, I haven't heard of that.
Oh, yeah. You got to listen to talk radio. Rick?
Yeah.
You're 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about it.
Are you serious?
Sure.
Who talks about it?
Well, listen, if you're in a culture where that's a very important thing and you're trying to, marry your daughter off to some sheik or something, then that's the best $2,500 you're ever going to spend,
This
right?
is after they perform the circumcision and take the clitoris off, and then they sew back the hymen.
No, I'm talking about.
But
what I'm talking about.
female genital mutilation. That seems to me part of that whole.
I don't think it's the same culture. This is the opposite.
Yeah.
This is we're putting you back together. We're giving you extra. Rick.
Yeah.
You're 19.
Recently, I've been having like a lot of pubes fall out in the morning.
Yeah.
And is that regular or what?
I don't know. Is that regular, Doc? Doc?
I'm going to pass this to Drew.
There's two medical conditions I'm aware of that will cause this that are of relevance, and one is adrenal insufficiency, and the other is thyroid disease. Though usually you wouldn't see that in a young person. You're 19. You see it mostly in older folks, like over 50.
And
but if you really are, visibly losing hair, I think it's worth having those things tested.
it's just like 3 or 4 hairs falling in the toilet each morning.
No, that's
That
nothing.
would be normal.
That's fine. Yeah. Is your pube brush all full with hair?
How about your legs? Your legs have normal hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Nothing?
Hey, Rick, don't waste our time, you idiot.
And then
A couple of pubes in the toilet in the morning. Jesus Christ. We have heroin addicts waiting to call in this show.
All right, one more question. Both of my nuts are uneven. One's like a basketball and like a soccer ball.
So it suddenly, Adam's preoccupation with the hymen, it seems rather nominal, doesn't it? You have to hear what our callers obsess about.
That's a great example, by the way. The basketball and the soccer ball. Yeah, they're both about the same size ball.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's the worst goddamn example I've ever heard in my life.
Rick, that's fine. Don't worry. There should be symmetry there. One hangs a lower, one... Yeah, they can be. They're not usually in the same position.
What about the ball itself? Are they usually a little different shape?
Little.
Really?
I wonder if he's
got problems.
I wonder if he just had late onset puberty or something. He's just now dealing with all this. Ask him.
Rick,
how old were you when you started getting hair?
Probably about 14 or 15.
So your puberty, you sort of had normal growth and development. It's not as though suddenly everything turned on just recently.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Rick.
All right.
Rick,
get a hobby.
I'm gonna cure you right now. You need a magazine to read while you're on the head. You sit there and stare at your chunk and go insane, counting pubic hairs floating in the water. Staring at a scrotum. You got to pick up like a Newsweek or something, brother.
All
right.
Thanks.
Okay. You got Drew. You have magazines by your toilet. Books, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that because I'll be parked. You know what I'm saying? I want to get in and out. I don't want to camp out there.
You described once in great detail the cleanup maneuvers you must go through. I think if you could park for a while, if you got that seat that we found in New York.
Trying to, when we stayed at the Riga Royal Hotel in New York, they have a toilet seat that shoots water in your ass. I recommend a trip to New York just to sit on the seat. I really do. Drew, how fast did I tell you about that?
Oh, you called me. You were still there.
This is the greatest thing ever.
We couldn't get you out to do our interviews that night.
Shot hot water right in your ass. I was a new man. And I got to get this seat. You've
been talking about it for 6 months?
I know, but now I mean it. Now my ass deserves it.
But I do recall you describing... God.
What was I saying?
I can't repeat it.
What was it?
That your usual cleanup maneuvers are like taking peanut butter out of shag carpet.
That's right. Yeah, it's a messy proposition. And with this new spraying toilet seat, it's a totally different ballgame. All right, Dr. Bruce Bekkar is here. He has written, what's the name of the book there?
Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology.
That's
And
right.
he will be a regular, I hope, regularly at drdrew.com. He certainly will be up the second week after launch. So middle of October, you'll be able to read his stuff.
He's a gynecologist. He looks at an average of 25 vaginas a day when he goes into the office. And when he's at home, it's 55 vaginas a day. He left that part out of the story. And we will take a little break. Oh, well, the man show's on tonight, kiddies. Just getting to be about that time there in Comedy Central. Thought I'd give a shout out to my other, more lucrative show. We'll take a little break, and when we come back, who are we going to talk to, Drew? We're going to talk to Mike. Mike is 14. Girlfriend said that she broke her hymen with a tampon. Mike wants to know if it's possible. We'll ask Dr. Bruce after this.
The National Football League and MBNA annually recognize teachers who have had a lasting and profound impact on their students. So profound that years later, NFL players remember the teachers who have influenced their life, making them a success both on and off the field. The NFL and MBNA congratulate those who educate the leaders of tomorrow. The NFL and MBNA, recognizing excellence among America's teachers. This message furnished by the National Football League.
LoveLine's phone number is 1-800-LOVE-191. LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. We'll be right back.
Man turns animal for the erotic pleasures of women.
It's LoveLine.
Confusion more?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I know all of it. I'm ready to take over. I'll tell you what, Bruce, tomorrow when you're, when you've pulled up into the vaginal stall there and you're going to work, why don't you just have me just slide in and do a little of that, guest gynecologist kind of thing where the woman, like, I could see the reaction being like, the woman being like, huh? Oh. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of talk me through things.
People are like, huh?
No, I think it'd be more like, huh?
There.
Oh. Aren't you from the Man Show? Isn't that on Comedy Central at 10:30 on Wednesday nights? Yeah, that's the night. Dr. Bruce Bekkar is the author of Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology, and it's really a must-read for all our bonehead listeners. It's something that I really think, like we talked about earlier, guys aren't interested and don't want to know, but it could change a guy's life. I mean, you could not get a venereal disease. You could not knock somebody up. I mean, you think about unlocking those mysteries down there in those underpants. You'd know when someone was going to get pregnant, or there's a ton of stuff there.
Well, we used to think that guys really might not be all that interested, that really we'd have to sell this book to women and have them insist that their partners read it. But I've been teaching a class along with Dr. Juan for the past year almost, and we get a really nice turnout every time. We teach it every month at Kaiser, and these guys seem to stay, well after the class is over. They have a million questions. It's literally like they've been waiting to have a class like this forever. I think typically most guys realize that their dads didn't understand women at all, really, as far as these topics were concerned, and they just sort of signed off on it. I think most guys figure, someday maybe I could know how to fix a car, but I'm certainly never going to know what makes women tick.
Right.
But we're really finding through teaching this class every month we have such a nice turnout, and the guys are so enthusiastic that there are a lot of guys that really are curious and see the usefulness, like you were mentioning.
Well, and guys are looking for an edge. You know what I mean? And that's what it is, I'm sure, for a lot of them. They just figure if they can figure out this Rubik's Cube that's in their panties,
they'll get what they want.
They may get a little more trim.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the fact of the matter is, if they're real supportive of their partners in any way, and particularly in this way, the woman is going to appreciate him more, and it pays off for both of them. They're both happier.
All right. When did you realize, when in your education did you realize you wanted to get into the gynecology?
Well, you're not going to like this answer because it's not all that exciting.
Fourth grade? Seriously.
It was in my third year of medical school because I did a great rotation over at Women's Hospital up at LA County, and I just realized there's a whole lot of variety. It's a very dynamic kind of a specialty.
Hold on, that LA County poontang is not what you call quality. I've been down to LA County.
I did my rotations there too, and
with the chicks.
After I hadn't slept for about 5 nights on my 27th baby, I thought, this is not for me. This is not for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I delivered, I think, 22 babies or something.
The first day.
It's insane.
Yeah, usually around the 20th or 21st, someone comes in and actually tells you how to do it.
Oh, there's nobody in the room when I was doing it.
Right.
Yeah, there was usually a resident in the next room sort of yelling at me when to...
Wait, is LA County better than County USC?
Same thing.
Same place?
Same place.
I don't want to see anyone naked in that place. That's bad. That's got to be scary.
It's actually it teaches you how to speak medical Spanish real fast.
Oh, man.
Empuje?
Oh, that's it.
No empuje?
I got to tell you, working the vagina ward over at County USC, that is just that is not a good hand. that's been dealt to you at all. I can't believe that's what got you into it.
Well, it's a very fun specialty. It's a lot of variety, and unlike a lot of parts of medicine, we deal with usually with people
Healthy
that are pretty
people.
healthy,
Yeah.
and they get better. We can do things for them.
that's true.
It's
right.
different that way.
All right. I it's just the county USC part. I'd go work like on the set of some movie or something, where, be great. Mike, that guy, you go on that Saved by the Bell or something like that, you can be like a set gynecologist.
Mike, what's going on?
Hi.
How would you learn what the hell's going on? How would you ever see sick people?
I wouldn't care. Mike, you're 14.
I'd like to say I was a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Great.
Yeah, and Adam, me and my friends all think that you are like the funniest guy ever.
Oh, thanks.
And we think that LoveLine's a really good show, like
Thank
the
you.
best talk show
All right. Well, you're very
on the
young.
radio.
Where are you calling from?
From Oakland.
Okay, go ahead.
My girlfriend said she was a virgin at the beginning of our relationship. Like, it just came up somehow. And we were planning on having sex, and I was like, so will there be a hymen to break? And she said that it wasn't because she had broken it with a tampon. And I heard Dr. Bruce say that you can't do it, and I was wondering if she was lying to me or what. Like, can it happen, like, at all?
Well, I want to be clear. It's hard to make a general statement, in any kind of a medical circumstance, have it apply to everybody. I think it is certainly possible that she tore her hymen a little bit with a tampon or with something else, and she may just be trying to tell you that it's not going to be maybe like what you're expecting it to be, really uncomfortable for her and bleeding a lot and things like that. So I don't think definitely from what she said, but it's certainly possible that that's true.
Yeah, she told me that like when she was first started using the tampon, it was like hard to get in the beginning, and then she like said it like hurt a little bit for an hour or something.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah?
You're 14. You sure you don't want to play some Nintendo or something, or you just want to sit around and talk about the vagina with your girlfriend all day? What the hell is going on in this country? How much serious vaginal talk can you take at 14 without just going insane? You know what I mean? I didn't want to know about that. That meant my mom had one at 14. I still don't believe she has one. All right, Mike, she's. What do you think she's doing? Dating a merchant marine or something? She's 14.
She could be.
Listen, if you don't trust her, get out of the relationship. But don't use the hymen as the litmus test. Okay?
All right.
All right. She's fine. She's a virgin.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, Dr. Bruce. Dr. Bruce, a gynecologist, not Dr. Bruce. Dr. Bruce.
My friend.
Drew's friend. Oh, you don't say you don't like this,
No,
Bruce? Okay, whatever. What I'm saying is the gynecologist, is the hymen more durable at, let's say, 13 than it would be at 26?
It's probably a little bit more intact at 13.
And would there be more bleeding and more discomfort if it was broken at 13 as opposed to 26?
I doubt that study's ever been done, but I bet you it's true.
I need to get involved with that one. We need someone to nail 26-year-old virgins. Alrighty. Where's that list? Kristen?
Yeah?
You're 16.
Yeah, hi, I love the show. You guys teach a lot of people, I think, great stuff.
Thanks.
And Adam, you're really funny. Okay, I'm 16, and I have not started my period yet, and I developed really late. I didn't, develop really anything until I was, 14, turning 15, and I was wondering if it was because of that, or if I have a problem, or what.
Well, are you healthy otherwise?
Yeah, I eat right, play sports, get enough sleep and stuff like that.
Is your development moving along otherwise physically? Have your breasts developed and pubic hair and things like that?
Yeah, but nothing significant in the past 6 months or anything.
Okay. But do you look kind of the same as other girls your age at this point?
Well, I'm a lot shorter and stuff like that, but I know I've heard that the normal age is 8 to 16, but I think I'm the only 16-year-old I know that hasn't started yet. So.
Well,
8? No.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know.
No, I think she's pretty close. I would say it would be a good idea for you to go in and see somebody and maybe have a little bit of blood work done and a brief exam.
Okay.
And you'll probably find out everything is fine, but you'll sleep better knowing that.
because I talked to my mom, and she didn't start hers until she was 15. So
which it tends to go in families.
Right.
And it's also late onset puberty is associated with longevity. So it's good news on one
That's right.
on one hand.
You have your period forever.
Why don't you describe some of the possibilities of no primary amenorrhea?
It can be what we were talking about earlier. If a woman had an imperforate hymen, a young girl had that, and again, that's rare. And imperforate's a big word, basically just meaning it completely seals the vagina, so no blood comes out. But probably more commonly, when a girl hasn't started her periods by this time, she's got all the right hormones going around, but she's not cycling, and she simply just hasn't built up enough lining yet for it to come out. So that's what I was thinking is probably more likely than anything. Typically, when you've just started,
I'm asking a funny question. She's short. Would Turner's or polycystic ovarian syndrome be considerations?
Well, Turner's is more to what you're describing, not PCO. But PCO is one of those conditions, polycystic ovary, where all the hormones are there, but a woman just doesn't cycle, and so she doesn't bleed.
No one starts cycling at 8 years old, though, do they?
Yeah. That's the youngest, I would think.
No, what's the average? Like 12, 13?
12 to 13.
Is it getting younger?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Maybe a little.
I mean, it's not dropped 2 years in 100 years.
No. If anything, it's very slight.
Just a couple of weeks, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. Hey, how much as a gynecologist? How much breast grabbing do you do? Do you know what I'm saying?
Not as much as the radiologists do.
Yeah, none at all.
You don't go.
I do breast exams.
You do that.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Now, if you have a breast exam and a gynecological exam, wouldn't you just, as a gentleman, start with the breast and then go down? It seems a little out of order to go for the vagina and then go for the breast. You know what I'm saying?
I can't speak for how anybody else does it, but that's the order I use. I start up top and
work your way down.
Yeah.
Do you have a technique for taking the bra off? Is it a smooth move? I mean, sort of a snap of the finger, or you must be very good at it by now with the bra.
Just don't answer.
That's not a serious question. I know. I'll let that go. Next question.
That'd be impressive, though. If you did that sort of Fonzie-like maneuver, you put the hand up the poodle sweater and you just do that snap and the bra goes flying off. What, is there someone who takes the bra off, Drew, or how's that work?
The patient.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you let them take their own bra off? Wow, that's forward. All right. We'll take a little break. Dr. Bruce Bekkar is here. He is authored a fantabulous book. It's called Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology.
Let's go look at The Man Show.
Talking all about it. Hey, let's go watch The Man Show, everybody. We'll be back after this.
LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. The phone number is 1-800-LOVE-191.
We'll be right back.
On WEBN.
Hello. It is LoveLine. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Our guest tonight is Dr. Bruce Bekkar. He's the one and only writer of Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology, who he actually had a little help from Udo Wan, who's an MD and a gynecologist himself, I'm sure. This is a partner of yours?
He's one of my partners. He's the guy who came up with the idea for the book, and we argued about it for about a month and said, there's no way we could write a book that would be any fun for a guy to read, that wouldn't be really politically incorrect. But we've made it interactive. There are quizzes at the beginning of every chapter. We try to throw a little bit of humor in there where we can tastefully do it. And I think overall, it doesn't read like a textbook.
No, it's fun and informative. You have basic female stuff, female anatomy, and there's yeast infections and bacteria and gonorrhea, and it really it's like a roadmap around the vagina. It really you help you navigate that difficult, oftentimes treacherous terrain, right, Drew?
If you say so.
Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone, man. All right, what are we doing here? Who are we talking to, Drew?
When are you leaving?
Yeah, soon. Sooner than you think. Emma.
Hi.
You're 17.
Yeah. Well, my mom's been really worried lately because my aunt is threatening us.
Your mom is worried because your aunt is threatening you?
Yeah, she's not really sane right now. So she's really screwed up.
Is that your mom's sister?
Yeah.
And what's she threatening to do?
Well, okay. Well, this is how it's. Supposedly she's accusing my dad of molesting my cousin.
Is there any possibility of that?
Well, I don't think so. I don't even think she would be able to know this because he didn't grow up with her. She got pregnant when she was 15, and she left him with my grandma, and he has been living with my.
Has your dad ever abused any other children?
No.
He'd never done anything weird to you?
No.
Has he been a good dad to you?
Yeah, really good. I get more along with my dad than with my mom. I'm more open with my dad. I could talk with him about anything, about my period, about any problem I have. And I'm not really that close with my mom, except lately she's been really nervous, and she told us to be very careful because she really thinks that my aunt might come and try to harm us really bad.
Why don't you get a restraining order, call the authorities, do the appropriate things?
But my mom is afraid that she's trying to do that to us already. She's been trying to get a restraining order.
Well, why do you care?
Because my mom is really nervous. She has like high blood pressure, and she's been on so many like drugs, prescription drugs, and nothing helps her. And she really sometimes she tries to she suffocates in her sleep because of all the tension.
Oh, okay, but hold on. What's that have to do with your aunt getting a restraining order?
Okay, well, see, you know how she accusing my dad of molesting my cousin?
Right.
She says she wants to get revenge of everybody, all of us in the family.
Right. Okay, I'm hip to that. But an hour and a half ago, we were talking about restraining orders. We suggested that you get one, and you said you can't. She's getting one.
We said,
and
great.
we said, fine.
Stay away.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to confuse you. Well, okay, she's trying to get my dad in trouble, literally, with the law, trying to get him in.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
And she also said that she's going to try to get back at us and try to...
Hold on, let me get this straight. Right. Your aunt is going to try to harm you kids? I'm going to make a wild guess here. Is it because she's accusing her father of molesting her kids?
I really don't know.
What a stretch.
She's also trying, not just us, not just our family.
Okay.
What a coincidental.
Emma. Hey, Emma. Listen, I'm sorry for your situation, but I'm going to give you 15 seconds here. Listen to me. We understand what the situation is. Your aunt is probably not a healthy woman. Your mom doesn't sound like she's a real healthy woman either. If she's threatening you, then you call the cops and you get a restraining order.
You document everything, you call the authorities, and you just deal with it. That's all.
You treat it as if it was anybody who was threatening
any other
you.
Criminal. That's it. If she wants to take some action in regards to some delusional preoccupation that she has, and enjoy it. Let her enjoy herself. That's fine.
I wonder how delusional it is.
Yeah, you don't know.
This whole family sounds like just a barrel of crap. It really does.
Send your people out.
Yeah, I'm going to call an airstrike in on this one. Sometimes, Dr. Bruce, I'll send in a hitman or something squad just to put some people down, and then other times I'll actually just call an airstrike because
it's more efficient.
The problem has gotten out of hand. It's at the aunt's house. It's at the mom's house. It's at the sister. I'll have to take out the whole block. All right, so Emma. Here's my advice. Study real hard, go far away to college, and leave all the rats to sort of...
scurry about.
Yeah, I was going to say rat F themselves in the nest. Michael.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Weren't you going to recommit yourself to this show?
I am.
Last night you were
tough love.
Recommit
That's
yourself.
my new pledge.
Tonight you're cursing out our guest and our listeners, and you're leaving.
Michael?
Yeah.
All right, you're 28.
Yeah.
I'm really going to try to bounce back on this call. I'm already mad now. What's going on?
Okay, my girlfriend, I know you guys heard this question a lot of times, but my girlfriend, she couldn't orgasm during intercourse or oral sex, and she's circumcised, and I was wondering if it's because she's circumcised, that she couldn't orgasm. And
was this something that happened to her when she was a young girl?
Yes.
How old was she when they did that to her?
I believe it's like 5 or something.
Wow. Bruce?
Thankfully, we don't see this real often. Has she been in to see a gynecologist and have an exam and confirm what's been done?
Yeah, but he didn't tell her anything. I mean, I'm like, she's from one of those countries where they circumcise you when you were little.
What country?
Somali.
Somalia,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a crappy country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she, now when they say you circumcise a woman, now when you circumcise a man, you remove the foreskin.
Yes.
But in a woman's case, are you removing the clitoral hood?
Yes, exactly. They pretty much,
There's actually several different procedures.
Yeah.
Sometimes they actually take the clitoris, sometimes they sew up the vagina, there's all kinds of weird stuff they do.
Okay, but you remove the clitoral hood, and then the clitoris becomes desensitized. Is that what happens?
Yeah. She doesn't have, like, the clit. It's not there,
No clitoris.
Yes.
They remove the clitoris as well.
Yes.
Well, that's nice.
Yes.
That's nice.
I get a little lawsuit going if I were her. I really would.
The New England Journal ran a review on this, and they claimed that the orgasmic function was often intact when women had this procedure. They could still have normal functioning. However, it's hard for me to imagine how the psychological circumstances wouldn't have left some severe impairment with that function.
Right. I mean, I think there are both things going on, and that's why I was suggesting she go and see someone who's comfortable dealing with this topic. And again, we don't see it very often, but she ought to go in, find someone who'll talk to her about this in detail and make a very careful examination to determine how much of her problem is physical and how much of it is psychological, how much is just the trauma mentally from having been through that.
Do they have any kind of reconstructive surgery for that area?
Depends what they've done to them. I mean, some of them, it's
gotta have something to work with.
Sometimes they have to open the vagina back up because they actually sew it shut.
Well,
mostly
but not in this case. I'm sure that some of the clitoris was cut away.
Yep.
Is there a way to repair that?
I don't think you can put it back if it's been taken away. But that doesn't mean a woman can't get a lot of pleasure from sex. I think it needs to be addressed on both levels if she's going to have a chance to really enjoy herself sexually. But it sounds like she's got someone who cares about her, and that's a good first start.
Yeah, and in a way, Michael has like the world's best excuse for not giving someone an orgasm. You know what I mean? All other guys just sort of hang their head in shame, but it's like, hey, listen, no clitoris, fellas. What do you want? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure there are days we wish our partners didn't have a clitoris. You know what I mean? Just so we could feel a little better about ourselves. Am I right, guys?
You telling me something about yourself?
Seriously, you know what I'm talking about. Michael?
Yeah.
You sound like a good guy. Can she enjoy sex anyway?
Yeah, I mean, no problem.
All right, you got her checked out.
They have. I'm sure there are people who know more about this. There's gynecologists who know more about this than others, aren't there?
There must be, and you start with whoever she normally goes to see, and she's got to be willing. And this is a tough thing for a lot of women, even when everything is normal. It's tough for any person. She's got to be willing to say, hey, this is a reason I've come in to talk to you. Is that otherwise I'm doing all right, if that's true, but I'm not able to have an orgasm, and I was circumcised. And if she can at least say that directly, then he will do an appropriate examination to find out how much damage was done to her physically. And then, again, I also think she's got to have some kind of therapy, someone to talk to her about what she went through, because she may have also gotten the message from very early on that she's not supposed to enjoy sex.
Well, yeah, misogynistic abuse of males. That'll have an
I'm guessing that was woven in somewhere around when the rusty field instrument was used to circumcise her at age 5.
Right.
Well, wait a minute, Drew. I'm not scared of the truth. That's the difference between me and you. I'm not squeamish. Dr. Bruce, the clitoris, are they all about the same, or do they vary a little bit?
They probably vary a little bit. I mean, the analogous structure in men is a penis, and rumor would have it that they vary.
Wait, don't tell him.
No. That's what I was going to say. Is does it vary as much as the penis? I know it's on a smaller scale, although it's marginal with me. But I mean, does it still vary that much?
Again, that's probably a study that needs to be done.
Why?
It'll probably never be done.
I'll do it. There's another one I'll sign up for.
Let's not do it. No.
So far, I got 2 studies to participate in. Could you recognize your patients without, looking at them, in the eye? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like someone who's been coming to you for a few years.
Bruce is concerned that some of his patients may actually be listening. You understand how uncomfortable that is to ask that question?
I'm trying to make a point, which is how varied are those areas.
Points made.
Well, I don't know. I didn't get an answer. You think you probably could?
No.
All right, we got to take a break. You could, though, right?
No way.
Yeah, so please,
No.
Drew. Please,
No.
I recognize my friend's penises. You tell me Bruce has got a light, for Christ's sake. Come on, he knows what's going on down there. I was just, just trying to make a little entertainment here. That's all. Drew, you all right? We keep pushing, or you want to go to commercial?
I think we better go to commercial.
Go to commercial?
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, we'll speak to Jennifer's 26, has never had an orgasm. Thinks she may be masturbating wrong. We'll give her some tips after this.
I feel so liquidy. Really? Why? You're listening to LoveLine with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. LoveLine will be right back.
You really got to get out there and start checking out penis. It is LoveLine. We got to take a quick 10-second timeout, and we'll be back with more of the show in just 10 seconds.
This is LoveLine on
Radio
Station.
It is LoveLine. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew over there. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Dr. Bruce Bekkar is our guest tonight. He's a gynecologist, and he, along with Dr. Udawan. Yeah?
Right.
Said that right?
Yeah.
They both penned a fabulous new book. When's this book going to be out, by the way?
We're shooting for Valentine's Day, not coincidentally.
Right. So you can... What month is that?
February.
Yeah.
I'll remind you when it comes.
Keep your eyes open for this little ditty. It's called Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology, and it's fun. It's easy. It lays it all out, and it covers everything. And even though you may not want to be a gynecologist, there's plenty of stuff in here that you could learn from, especially the guys. And it's got some jokes and some quizzes and some tests. As a matter of fact, I think we were ripped off here, Drew, quite honestly.
Why?
Well, I mean, it really looks like our book. It really does. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this stuff is just lifted straight out of our text, just right out of our copy. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Anyway,
No, he said his
let's
is
save this copy for the legal team, and
He
let's
said
move
his
on
is
for the show.
tastefully done.
It certainly is. All right. I have not read our book, so I can't comment on it. Jennifer,
Yes,
you're 26.
I am.
What's going on?
Well, let's see. I'm 26. I've never had an orgasm. I've had sex with 3 men. And I miraculously had 3 children with, these men. I'm like a walking billboard. But the point is that...
You've had sex with 3 men in your life, and you have a child with each of them?
That's correct.
Oh, my
so
God.
I'm not doing that wrong. They're doing it wrong, or I'm doing it wrong. But I've never managed to achieve an orgasm.
Yeah.
Personally.
Why?
And I'm wondering if that's normal, if it's not normal. I've tried masturbation, and I don't know if I'm not doing it properly. But I've explored my body, and
Her character situation's already suspect, though, right?
it doesn't really...
It wasn't like she had one sexual encounter with these 3 guys' age. This was like repeated, unprotected, with previous experience.
Well,
This is like,
no, I don't know. On the other hand, she's only been with 3 guys at 26. Were you married to any of them?
When?
You were married to one of them.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He was just... It was a bad relationship.
What was he?
He was just an asshole.
What did he
I'd
do?
say that, can I?
You can say
he
that.
was just abusive.
Physically abusive.
He was abusive.
All right, so you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Was this the last guy?
No, he was number 2.
Number 2.
And here's the other way to ice this. How old were you when you had your first baby?
I was 17.
Okay.
So you were pregnant at 16?
Basically, yeah.
How old was that guy?
He was the same age.
Yeah. See, smart ass Drew. What kind of guy was your dad?
Well, he's kind of a domineering,
abusive guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got.
I'm going to say abusive. He's more of the passive person in an abusive situation. You know what I mean?
No.
My mother.
The person that's getting the crap beat out of him.
Mom's abusive. He lets it happen.
Your mom's aggressive.
mom's aggressive, dad's passive, but he pacifies the situation by letting her be aggressive and putting me in a passive situation.
All right. So what are you doing with these kids now?
I'm taking care of them on my own.
And are these guys in their lives at all?
No, they're not.
Has the state contacted you, by the way? Because I swear to Christ, when I'm in charge.
I want to know is it normal for me to have an orgasm? I don't want you to,
seriously, I want to know if the state is... No, I want to talk about this for a second. Has anyone from the state dropped by?
No.
I really think we ought to do that.
Well, you're not paying for her kids. She's taking care of them.
Yeah, my ass. Of course I'm paying for those kids.
No, I'm serious. I take care of my children very well. I'm a good mom. I'm proud of that.
You have no food stamps, no...
No, I take good care of my kids. And I
understand
Where do you get the money? We don't mean that you're feeding them food stamps. I mean that...
Where do I get the money? I work. You know, that's what I do. I get up every morning.
I always have a little math problem when we talk about that. So you get up every morning, you go to work.
That's correct.
And then who takes care of the kids?
My mother.
Okay.
Okay.
And then where do you work?
Well, I live in a small town, so I'd just rather not say.
Okay. All right. And then you come home and you take care of the kids.
Exactly.
All right. Don't have any more kids, would you please?
I promise.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
so Bruce is going to address the issue of no orgasm.
You don't deserve one.
No, let's...
I don't deserve
Hey, look, hey,
all right.
she's got some issues. She's working hard. She's taking care of business. All right.
Well, one question is, have you ever talked to the doctors that you've seen about this? Has this ever been discussed?
No, I've never. This is the first time that I've brought it up.
Yeah, and it is difficult, and you should know that you're certainly not alone. There are an awful lot of women who are your age who haven't had orgasms. And what these two are talking about certainly comes to my mind also, that there's probably something in your upbringing that made you think pretty negatively about sex, or certainly about enjoying it too much. But I think the first thing to do is to have an exam and mention directly to the gynecologist that you're not able to have an orgasm, and just make sure that there's nothing obvious that's not normal. And I can almost guarantee you everything will be fine, but at least then you'll know that for sure, and you'll know it's not a physical thing. There are sex therapists, and there are also good books that you can get.
What book would you recommend?
Off the top of my head, I don't have one I can recommend that's real current. All the ones that I have used are older.
Would you give a book? Do any of your patients complain of not being able to have a orgasm? You get in that conversation with them?
Yeah, from time to time.
Wow. That's kind of exciting. While you're down there? You don't have that conversation while you're down there.
This is one of those questions I hear when I've got my hand on the door and we've talked about 2 or 3 things already, and we're just about to wrap things up, and they say, oh, by the way, I've never had an orgasm in 26 years.
Right.
And it's incredibly important. It's obviously...
We're sitting back down.
What do you talk about when you're down there, when they're up in the stirrups there? Do you have any kind of conversation?
I don't have a set routine, but
really?
I do talk while I'm examining them, just because I know how horribly uncomfortable they are. I figure if I can make them a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
I'll talk about anything, the weather or movies.
If men had to go through this, there would be a different procedure.
Yeah, there would. Yeah. Well, they'd put a TV set up on the wall behind the guy's head. I mean, that's really what you need. Forget about the talk. I mean, not that you're... I'm sure it's compelling conversation, but put the TV on.
ESPN would be playing in each room.
Yeah. Unless you can put a bowling pin in my ass. If I really got caught up in a game, I wouldn't even feel it. Just be watching that game. Would that be in poor taste to put a TV set up?
Put a bowling pin up your ass?
No, the women lie down on that stirrupy thing, but they're kind of up.
That's a good idea.
A little bit. Put the TV up there. Let her watch the TV. Right? Is that all right?
It's never been done that I know of, but
I think it's a good
maybe
plan.
You'll start something.
Yeah, the closest anyone has ever got to that is one time I went to a dentist, and once in a while the dentist, because their techniques are so primitive, but once in a while one of them gets an idea and he puts a poster on the ceiling. Unfortunately, it's a poster of like a kitten that's pawing at a turtle or something, and after about an hour and a half of staring at that, you just want to tear out the goddamn ceiling because you're going insane. But I told him, hey, put a ceiling up, put a TV up there and not stare at it. That'd be enjoyable.
Yeah, but you'd be wanting to put videos in and stuff. Very embarrassing.
And that'd lead to trouble, yeah. You're right. Drew's right. Steve.
Yes.
You're 28.
How you guys doing?
Good. You're on with the gynecologist.
Hi,
Dr. Bruce.
Hi there.
Well, I'm 28. I've been married to my wife for 4 years. We've been together for 11. And over the last month or so, we've been getting into some issues over wanting to try something new, at least for me. And I had mentioned to her I'd like to try cyber sex. And she says it's a recipe for disaster, but if Dr. Drew says that it's okay, then she'll try it out.
He's nodding, so that
No.
Next call.
You mean you want to engage in some weird thing with somebody else?
Just try something new.
And what is she supposed to do?
Get him a beer.
Just both of us on the computer.
To one another?
Yes.
No, not to one another.
Oh, no, not to one another. To another couple.
To another couple.
Yeah.
Together to another couple.
Do they have that couples stuff?
Yeah.
Are you typing in though?
Mm-hmm.
How can you grab your Johnson and type?
That's why her and I are together.
So she types and you're grabbing?
Well, we take turns.
Yeah. I see. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but just give me a hustler and let me hit the shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is going on in this society? Hey, you're writing. It's script, right? It's copy. You're not seeing anything, are you?
Right.
You're just hearing. You're actually not hearing. You're just reading this copy.
I view it as the same as like watching a porno.
No.
Same type of outlet.
No, don't you ever say that about pornography. Do you hear me, Steve? I swear to God, I'll hang up on you.
I'm sorry.
It is nothing like pornography.
Okay.
Oh, poor Steve. He actually he believes you're...
Well, please. He's equated reading off a computer to my precious, beloved pornography. That's an insult.
All right.
Well, listen. Okay. Well, okay. So let's say Steve is turned on and maybe his wife. Your wife's going to be pissed off.
Yeah,
your wife's going to. Yeah. She's going to kick your ass.
That's
after
right.
this, Steve.
I think the impulse here is what's the most unhealthy. This need to dilute your intimacy by bringing somebody else in.
Well, it's not a need. It's just I just want to do something different.
Yeah, but it's the desire to move in that direction is not the healthiest impulse. Okay.
Well, let me chime in here, Steve. Here's what you need to do.
Okay.
You need to sneak away and go to a hooker. But see, you're trying to do it above the board.
This is great advice, huh?
Well, what I mean is once in a while a guy tries to sort of cheat above the board. You know what I mean? Like, hey, honey, why don't we go to a swingers party, or why don't we get into the cyber thing, or why don't we do something together? Therefore, it's not really cheating.
Women are stupid enough to do that. They numb themselves up and lead themselves into it because the guy has to have that.
Okay, but the subtext there is hey, I'd like to bang somebody else for a few minutes, and I guess if you want to come along, you can come along.
Well, but in this case, it's it's a very much on a fantasy level that he's acting out those sorts of impulses.
Right. I don't want to do anything real. I don't want to have any threesomes or foursomes at all. I know that'll.
But that's the point.
No relationship ever lasts.
I understand.
Well, what if you could discreetly sneak away, have a little sex with someone, and take a shower and come home? And
I'll think about that then.
No one would be the wiser. Would you? Isn't that really just what you want to do?
No.
No, wife's listening.
Yeah. She's afraid I'm going to start smoking a cigar and wearing a smoking jacket.
All right. Well, the first no, I didn't think the wife was listening, but the 8 no's that came after it, that's when I know the old lady's listening. No.
All right, but it is that sort of an impulse that causes it. And on one hand, the reality of it, that you are together and you're sharing this thing and it's sort of in front of one another, and it's a way of sort of enhancing some interaction you have. There's something to that being okay. I'm just worried about the impulse and the fact that you're sort of heading off in that direction.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound. We've certainly heard worse. This is very tame, especially compared to LoveLine standards. But
it doesn't register.
Here's your inherent problem here, Steve.
Okay.
You want to do it. It's fairly tame, and if she wanted to do it, we'd be giving it a big green light, although we'd have some reservations about it, but that'd be fine. The problem is she doesn't want to do it, and when you get women to do stuff that they don't want to do, you're screwed, because it comes back to haunt you.
Right.
They really make you pay sexually, spiritually, emotionally. They'll take it out of you. You take an ounce out of them, they'll take 5 pounds out of you. You understand?
And so again, it is
that's
a
your
move
problem.
towards a slight move away from intimacy. The impulse is away from intimacy.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the guy sounds committed. He loves his wife.
Right. Well, then better he should not go off in that direction. It's asking for trouble.
Yeah.
All things being equal.
All right. Well, you just got to cheat. Anthony.
Yeah.
You're 14.
I don't know if you remember, but I called in last night. But I was watching this show, and this guy asked what a G-spot was, and I was wondering what a G-spot was, too.
Dr. Bruce?
Oh, boy.
Oops, sorry. I belched. Yeah, where's that G-spot?
It's controversial about whether or not such a thing actually exists, but if it does, it's somewhere in the, what would be the top wall of the vagina, maybe half an inch to an inch inside.
It's basically the backside of the clitoris. Right?
Yeah.
Just another way of getting at that same neural material.
It's in that region. It's also around the area of the urethra, the little tube that empties the bladder. How come you're interested in it? That's an interesting question for you to have at the age of 14.
I don't know. You just get curious. You got to know these things, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there a test coming up or something you need to know this on?
Well, we do learn, in school.
Oh. Yeah. You don't talk about the G-spot in school, though.
No.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
All right, let me explain something here, Anthony.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore and myth around the vagina.
Virgina?
The vagina. Sound like one of my listeners now.
Huh.
Around the vagina. And some of it true, some of it not. But the whole G-spot thing, there's much more made of that than...
Right. Way more.
Yeah, just listen. You give a woman good oral sex, that's all you need to remember.
We should ask him, though, about female ejaculation.
All right, let's do that. Anthony?
Yeah.
We're going to let you go.
All right.
All right, take care, brother.
All right.
Dr. Bruce Bekkar, who's the co-author of Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology out on Valentine's Day coming up. What about this female ejaculation? That ever happened to you when you were, doing some work? Did a woman ever orgasm when you were down there?
To answer your first question, which I think is probably the one you really want to know.
Right.
There is a form of excretion of fluid that happens as part of orgasm.
Sometimes.
And, yeah, it's not a real noticeable thing. Most women don't have an appreciable amount. It probably varies also depending upon the time of cycle.
Ooh.
And doesn't have a whole lot of significance either way, I think, to most women's pleasure.
But some women produce quite a substantial amount of discharge, right?
Yeah, some more than others.
Yeah, we've talked to a few of those. And then some have the female orgasmic incontinence, which that's a whole other bird
story.
There. Now, when you go down there to do your work on these ladies, what do you bring with you? I mean, do you wear goggles?
When I'm doing a pelvic exam.
Yeah. Mask?
Pelvic exam is very straightforward. We use an instrument called a speculum, which is...
Got one.
I'm good, I guess.
Looks like a duck's bill.
It's a long, smooth, curved instrument that basically just holds the walls of the vagina open so that we can see inside and look for various normal features and abnormal features that we want to check out. And otherwise... in order to examine the higher structures, the uterus and the tubes and ovaries, we use a gloved hand in the vagina, a couple of fingers there, and press down on the abdominal wall and hold things between our two hands, and we can kind of feel what's there.
What seriously, do you wear a mask or goggles or earplugs or anything?
None of that's necessary.
Really?
Just the glove.
The dental hygienist is wearing, face goggles. He's wearing like goggles, like a welder's mask, and she's got a respirator on. And there you go. You got your head buried between someone's legs. You get nothing. Free and clear. Just wearing a tank top and the gold chain. What strikes me as fun? You don't wear medallions, do you? Is that considered? Do they talk to you about that in med school? Like, don't wear that big Italian horn. It's unsettling to the women.
I don't think it's specifically mentioned. No.
Really? I would bring that up. Listen, no gaudy jewelry. No pinky rings. No big Italian horns. It kind of set. I wouldn't want to see that if I was a woman. Would you, Drew?
I wouldn't want to see that if I was a man.
All right. So, and do you use lubrication when you go up in there?
Mm-hmm.
What kind do you use?
KY lubricant most commonly.
And that's
water-based,
kid tested, mother approved.
Yeah.
Or that's the stuff you use, right?
Yeah,
Just a good, and you put it all over your hand. I mean, you always got to go all the way up your glove, right?
No,
it doesn't. Well, if you're getting up in there, no. Wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you have to do that?
Again, we make the exam as quick and painless as we can.
This is about as much as goes in. Maybe this.
Two fingers?
Just a tiny amount.
That's it? Yeah. That doesn't sound like a good time. All right. Has anyone ever farted when you were down there? Seriously.
Not that I recall.
Seriously.
But they have had an orgasm. I know you have to. There's some women who'll just have that. We talk to women all night. They have an orgasm when they're shifting their car into reverse on their way to work. Do they apologize then? You don't have to mention any names, but it's got to be a little uncomfortable, right? Do they, say sorry, or do you say it's no big deal, or I get it all the time, or what do you do at that point?
The serious answer to your question is that women don't enjoy having a pelvic exam at all, and it's an unfortunate necessity to take good care of them, that they need it once a year.
But once in a while, somebody's going to peel off an orgasm, right?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Never.
It's all they can do just to come into the office and have this distasteful thing done to take care of them.
Wait till we get to the commercial break. I'm guessing 75 orgasms, Dr. Bruce has experienced.
Let's talk to Amber quickly.
Amber, you're 16.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, see, like I've had my period for 3 years or something like that, and it's only every other month, and the month I don't have it, I have really bad discharge, and it's yellowish and whitish and all sorts of colors.
Right on schedule, same time?
Kind of. I mean, sometimes
okay.
Sometimes generally it's at the beginning of the month, but then the last couple times I've had it at the beginning of the month, and then I've also had it at the end of the month.
Sounds to me like you're not ovulating more than every couple of months, and maybe even not that often. Have you ever been in and had an exam and had a little bit of blood work done to look into this?
No.
They checked your thyroid. There's another hormone.
You see, the reason why I didn't is because I just thought, because I heard my PE teacher say that it was just I only had one ovary or something like that.
No.
That's why I only had it every other month.
Oh, Amber, oh, no.
What the hell's up with PE teachers being part psychologist, part drill instructor, part gynecologist,
philosopher.
Philosopher, lover, philanthropist. They're just a bunch of old jackasses. I had conversations about testicles and what happens when you lift the weights and you wear the boxer shorts, Why don't they just knock that crap off? They're making $28,000 a year. They were drummed out of the military.
Well, she was also my math teacher, so.
All right.
Oh. So go in and see a gynecologist and tell them the story, and I'm sure they'll order a small battery of blood tests just to check out a couple things. For instance, if it was your thyroid, it's something that needs to be corrected, and it'll solve a lot of other problems for you, too. Okay. But you'll probably just end up finding out that you don't ovulate, you've got all the right hormones, and they'll either give you some pills to take once a month, some progesterone to replace what you're not making, or more likely they'll put you on the pill.
Let me talk just a little more, shop with Dr. Bruce over here for a second. We get this problem all the time. Guys call in, they say there's a little odor coming from downstairs, and they want to know what to do about it, and they want to know, if they should tell their girlfriend, and what would your advice be? Because a lot of guys have difficulty broaching this subject with their girlfriends.
Well, I guess I'd start and say, is there anything else aside from odor? Is she complaining of any discomfort? Is this something that's new, or does he notice it frequently? I mean, one common cause for odor is women often have a little bit of odor around the time of their menstrual period or just after. But there certainly are infections. There's one in particular that's quite common called bacterial vaginosis that causes a little bit more discharge than usual and some odor along with it. And that's probably what you're hearing about a fair amount of the time. And that's something that needs to be treated. It's not that dangerous, really. It doesn't become a systemic infection, but it certainly can infect both partners, and it's very uncomfortable.
What about douching? You a big fan of that?
Not a big fan. The vagina is another miraculous part of the body that pretty much cleans itself. I think we strongly recommend women not douche more than once a month. Mm-hmm. More than that, you can cause problems.
Such as?
You can wash out normal flora, normal bacteria that are in the vagina and get a yeast infection from doing that.
And does it cause any ascending infections?
I think if a woman's doing it carefully, it won't. But all kinds of things can happen if you're not careful.
Is a vagina? Stop me if I'm wrong here. But don't stop me. Is a vagina sort of like certain people have their breath smells a certain way. I mean, some guys' breath smells a certain way. Some's bad, some's good. It varies a little bit from person to person. Doesn't really matter what they eat or how often they brush. It's not that they have an abscessed tooth or anything. It's just their kind of breath smells a certain way. Is the vagina that way? Some just sort of have their own funk, own smell?
Everybody has different body odors.
Right.
And I guess that's what you're asking. And if a guy is noticing his girlfriend's body odor and it's different to him and it seems not as pleasant as some others, that might just be normal.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It could be that, and it could be an infection.
What about that FDS spray? You recommend that stuff? That stuff they just spray on their panties? You don't.
Never.
You don't like any of that.
This is a dream come true for you. 2 hours with a gynecologist.
Yeah, it's great.
You're really just.
No, I'm very fascinated by this. I know a lot of our listeners are, and I have the guts to ask the tough questions, like the part about you wearing jewelry during the examinations, right?
Tough question.
All right, they don't give you any conversations about silk shirts, wearing baseball caps and then turning them backwards when you go down there. None of that. There's no etiquette. See, Drew, that's why they need me at these medical
you have two disgusted
schools.
Doctors in here now. We're both just got the puss
Drew, I think you know them right.
We both have pusses on, and you're carrying on.
All right. Well, we'll take a little break here. When we come back, we'll speak to Amber, who's 16.
No, we just talked.
Oh, we won't. Oh, well, Drew, would you do your goddamn job for a change over here, sitting back? You should all see Drew, by the way. He is in the position that Uncle Joe is in when he's on the porch of the Petticoat Junction. He doesn't even pretend to be involved in the show. He leans back, has his feet up, his hands behind his head. I mean, it's really like you're doing some sort of dramatization of relaxation. You know what I mean? It's like
Your Royal
if we were
Highness.
doing a movie, the director would tell you to rein it in a little bit. It's too much relaxing, he would say. It's too obvious. Right? Okay. When we come back, we'll speak to Catherine, who's 16, wants to tell parents that she needs to go on the pill, but she's scared too. Help. We'll help her after this.
For more than 3 decades, her music has rocked our world, endured the test of time, and given us something to believe in. Now, topping the charts with the biggest-selling single and album of her career, The Summer Belongs to Cher. Cher, live in concert at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Sunday, August 29th at 9 p.m., only on HBO. Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla. We'll be right back.
It's Loveline.
WEBN.
Right, Drew?
I can't understand how anybody would think you're full of yourself.
Well,
I can't imagine that.
How long have we been doing? Have I been doing this show?
3 years.
Well,
right.
I think it's 4 years.
4 years? Is that long?
Right.
Wow.
How long we've been doing? And we're going on our 5th season of Loveline, the
something
TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind sounding full of myself. Here's the deal. Everyone says in this business, it's who you know. It's luck. You know, here today, gone tomorrow. All this kind of stuff. Enjoy it while you can. Has nothing to do with that. If you're good, you get to work as much as you want, and if you suck, they kick your ass right out. You do one batch, and that's it. If we sucked, we would have done one batch of those crappy love lines on MTV, and they would have closed the door and kicked us out. We do 65. That would have been 3 years ago, and no one would have ever heard of us again. But we're good. We did a good job. Now we're going on our 300th and 400th or whatever. And that's it. It's not luck. And it's not luck with anything, everybody. I don't care what endeavor you're involved with, what field, what work. Do a good job. Show up. Don't piss anybody off. Actually, you can piss people off as long as you do a good job. Do a good job. Show up. Shut your face. And get your paycheck. And believe me, the work will keep coming. It does not vary. Drew, does it? You guys are doctors. I used to be a carpenter. It wasn't any different in any profession that I've been involved with.
That's right.
In TV and Hollywood, everyone makes it out to be this sort of business. It's filled with luck and filled with chance, and it's none of that. Do your job, and magically you just keep working, and there's more and more to do. Right?
Yeah.
That's right. We'll see what happens to you, Drew, when I'm on my way, though. That's the end of your luck. Catherine.
Hi.
You're 16.
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to Adam and Drew. And Adam, you're like the hottest guy on radio.
Because they're all fat and ugly.
Yeah, Howard Stern. No, I'm just kidding. But,
No, he's not fat. But radio guys are unattractive.
I know. But you're attractive, and so is Drew.
Well, Drew's like a good 5.5.
Okay, this is my problem. I have a problem and a question. Okay, my problem is I've been with my boyfriend for almost a year, and recently we just started having sex. But the problem is we haven't used anything. And he came to me. He's all, Catherine, we have a problem. I don't want to get you pregnant. I don't want to, end up being a dad at 15. So he's all, well, we need to talk to our parents. Well, the problem is we're both scared.
Why do you need to talk to your parents?
Well, I want to get on, birth control.
Well, why don't you go get on it?
Well, I'm afraid to talk to them because my parents aren't real open about that.
Why do you need to talk to your parents about it?
Well, I thought we had to talk to our parents or whatever.
No, after 14, at 14 and above, you are entitled to completely confidential health care.
Oh, really?
On your own. And I would recommend, my opinion is, you get that, no matter what you decide, you keep a Prevent or a Plan B in your glove compartment or your medicine cabinet. So should there be some failure of a contraception, you have a backup plan.
What contraception, though? You're not even using anything, are you?
We did a couple times.
Oh, okay.
What,
well,
a condom?
That's a totally different scenario then. A couple of times.
So, Bruce, getting on the pill.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It has a lot of benefits.
Is this mic effed up
I
again?
also feel guilty, behind my parents' back and all that.
Well, if you want to tell your parents it's a healthy thing to do.
Hold on a second. Hey, Screwball, you're already getting it on with your boyfriend. What do you mean? Now the guilt of using protection. Oh, the shame.
Hey.
Well, you guys have been screwing like rabbits for the last 6 months, right?
Yeah.
A year. How long have you been screwing your boyfriend?
2 months.
2 months, nonstop.
Not nonstop.
Sure, I know you kids are.
No, we're not like that.
Kids are so
But do you get his point, Catherine?
Yeah, I get the point.
You've already brought plenty of shame to the family. Now, don't bring a kid. You know what I mean? That's extra shame.
Yeah, I know.
Your parents are probably delighted that you're being responsible. Now, if you have that kind of relationship with your parents, if you don't feel they can handle it or that you want to share this with them it would be great if you could. And hopefully that kind of dialogue is something you have with your parents, and I would wish you to have that. But if it's not realistic, just make sure you get the contraception. That's the real priority here.
Mm-hmm. And my question was, what's better, the pill or the shot?
That's a good question, and actually both of those methods fit right into the category of two of the better contraceptives because they're both highly effective. I like the shot, particularly for someone who's busy going to school and doesn't maybe have a great history of remembering, having a great memory every day to take a pill. I think that's the biggest problem with the birth control pill is you got to remember it every single day. The shot you only have to think about 4 times a year. And it is important to get it on time, but obviously that takes a whole lot less effort.
How much of a window do you have with the depot?
It's about 3 months or 3 weeks.
3 week window.
3 weeks, yeah.
So you get it every 4 months.
3 months.
3 months, sorry. And how much is the depot shot?
How much does it cost?
No, how much does it weigh? Yeah, how much does it cost? These doctors,
you know what?
They're smart.
This is the beauty of working for Kaiser Permanente. I don't have to. I don't know what people pay for things. It's all out of my hands. It is not comparatively a more expensive choice than the pill.
Well, the pill is it $20, $30 a month,
yes.
Something like that. It's about. If it's a choice between that and cable, though, I'm sorry, I'm going to cable, but it's probably not $90 or $100. It's probably cheaper than that.
It depends on where she gets it and what the pharmacy's the deal that they've got.
Go down to Mexico and get it. And maybe give it to them. They get it for like $5.
You do not have patience to go to Mexico.
Yes.
No.
I have patience to go to Mexico for all kinds of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
They're buying tile.
No, Coumadin is a very expensive medicine they get typically in Mexico. Antidepressants they get in Mexico. Depo-Provera is one that patients. We're broadcasting from Los Angeles, and this is 2.5 hours from the Mexican border. My patients go down there and buy stuff.
But they go to Puerto Vallarta. No, they go into Tijuana.
Yeah.
And what do they do? You buy the shot? What do you buy?
They buy a Tubex. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Or they buy a reusable vial.
That's ridiculous. You do not have patience to do that.
I do.
What patience? You see a bunch of old Jews. What are you talking about?
No, I see some younger folk too.
Younger Jews? All right, so you get this depot shot. It's better than taking the pill.
No, I actually think
easier.
they're both about the same, but
you
one's
don't
a
have
lot
to
easier to remember than the other one. The side
Right.
effects are a little bit different between the two methods, and I think if you go and you see a gynecologist, and again, Drew makes a great point, you don't really need to tell anyone you're going to do that. I think it would be the most responsible thing to go in there and get a pap smear. You're due for that now, and talk about what the options are. But I think any of the hormonal methods, the pill and Depo-Provera and Norplant, are all good choices for you right now, and you just have to figure out which one fits your life best.
You can go to Planned Parenthood if you want something that's completely away from your usual healthcare delivery or other sorts of delivery systems like Planned Parenthood. That you need to be aware that if you go to your doctor, and by the way, whoever your doctor normally is there to help you with this kind of thing, and he or she is not going to contact your parents. It's illegal for them to contact your parents, but you do need to be aware that if you use your insurance, that oftentimes what's called an EOB will appear in the mailbox of your parents, since they're the insured people, and notification of what was paid to the doctor ends up going to the insured individual. So that could get a little unpleasant for you.
How long is that Norplant good for?
Norplant's good for 5 years. Although there's a new one that's going to come out before too long that's going to be fewer capsules and probably only last about 2 years. So that'll work for, I think, women with a different priority.
And Norplant, they make a little incision and put it under the skin?
Tiny little incision takes 10 minutes.
That's a long time when you're getting cut on, though. You know what I mean? That feels like an hour and a half.
You're completely, a woman is completely numb when she's having this placed, and they universally tell me after having it put in that it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be.
And where do they put it? In the upper arm?
Just inside the upper arm.
And that's good for 5 years now?
5 years, don't have to think about it.
Wow.
And it's
How much is that? You don't know.
I think, again, they're all comparable. All these hormonal methods are roughly the same price, depending upon what your insurance benefits are.
Are the side effects, we always hear about this Depo-Provera shot with some bleeding or something like that. Are the side effects from Norplant better or worse than the Depo?
They're fairly similar. Depo-Provera is given every 3 months. It runs a little higher blood level of the hormone that provides the contraception, the progesterone. They're fairly similar. They both have irregular bleeding that goes along with them, although half of the women who use Depo-Provera don't have any periods at all after the first year. And it's important for them to know that this is not a bad thing. It actually doesn't hurt the women at all. It's just part of the hormonal effect.
I'll tell you, when I'm in charge, Dr. Bruce, every woman is getting that Norplant. And all
until you clear them for pregnancy?
That's right. They're going to have to pull a permit, and I will examine it very closely. Of course, there'll be a lot of palm greasing going on. That's all right. I can take bribes. Drew,
palm greasing? No.
You know what I'm saying. Do any of your patients going to Mexico for the Norplant as well?
No, never seen that. And by the way, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying this is what people do. They go down and they're worried about the price of medicines. They go down and do that.
But they're on a run. They're on a general drug run. From here.
Oh, I just took care of a patient that went to City of Hope who got an antibiotic over the counter in Mexico at one of these pharmacias, and apparently there was something wrong. They don't regulate the medications in Mexico the same way we do.
That is a shock. And, what a surprise.
Well, it was a horrible thing for her. She ended up dying from anaplastic anemia. So those medications that you can get over the counter in Mexico, they're not over the counter for a reason. I mean, some of them should be. Frankly, the birth control pill in the next 5 years will probably become an over-the-counter medicine.
Really?
Yeah, because frankly, the risks of pregnancy
are
so much greater than the risks from the pill.
Oh, I'm such an advocate of that. Where can I get on board to move that along?
Oh, Drew, there's going to be a bunch of big, fat, white religious guys that are sodomizing their stepdaughters who are going to be dead set against that kind of activity.
It may be true, but this is so much the right thing. I want to lead the charge on this one. This is just, where do I sign up?
I don't know, but I'm going to the bathroom.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to lead the charge to the bathroom.
Okay, I'll go.
Dr. Drew Bekkar is here from Drew's. Okay.
Dr. Drew and Dr. Bekkar.
He will be on drdrew.com.
Let's just pee in.
Check it out. Ask some questions there if you haven't had a chance to call in tonight.
Okay, let's cut our losses by peeing together, Drew. Right. We need to get back to that. We'll be back.
LoveLine will be right back.
LoveLine, only on
Hey. It is LoveLine. Dr. Bruce Bekkar is here. He is the co-author of a book called Your Guy's Guide to Gynecology, and there's plenty of alliteration to be had on this title. It is a fun and easy read. It's a light-hearted romp, a puckish satire, right, Drew?
Puckish satire of contemporary mores. Yeah.
It's it really teaches you everything you need to know, and you know what? It doesn't go on too long about any one thing. It's just here's what herpes is. Good, don't get it. We're moving on, and I like that. And it really explains a lot of things that guys want to know, and I really think it's a good idea, and I think it's an idea whose time has come. Guys learning about the vagina.
That was he asked me for a quote about this book. That was my quote.
Really?
Yeah.
You ripped it off from me?
You just ripped it off from me.
Oh, really? But did I hear you say it?
But it's bizarre. No, it's bizarre that we came up.
Yeah.
We spent too much time. We just peed together.
Well, there's another cliche. I think it's Tardos think alike. Is that how it went? Yeah. All right. Ben?
Hey.
Hey, you're 15.
Yeah, my girlfriend, one day we were talking, and she just said that when she looks, because she has like a mural on her wall of all different people, and she was telling me that when she looks at a woman's body, it's like, oh my God, you know, but then when she looks at a guy's body, it's like not the same. And I was just like, I like asked her about it, and then she said that...
You asked her?
Sorry.
That's all right.
But I asked her about it, and she said that she's been having thoughts about it for a long time, even before she was going out with me. But she has like really religious friends, and she's not religious herself, but she's afraid that they won't be friends with her anymore if she...
So she is intending to be lesbian?
What do you mean? Like,
is that her plan? Is that she really is acknowledging that...
I don't know. We went to the library, and she wanted to look up books on it, but they didn't have any because we live in a crappy town with no good
Well, Ben, you should realize that most humans...
What books you need on... Why do you have to look up lesbianism?
I know, but she's struggling, whatever. Most humans identify sexuality with the female form, and women do that too, especially young women. Not only do they start to sort of identify sexuality with females, they also tend to sometimes confuse intimate, warm feelings with sexual feelings. And so it's a time when she's clarifying who she is. And she may be lesbian, that's possible, or even bisexual. But the point is, don't rush to judgment at this stage of the developmental cycle, okay? Just let her cool out, let her figure out who she is. Don't do a lot of experimentation, because that tends to add to people's confusion at your age. And we'll see where she goes, all right?
All right.
Well, Bruce, you have something to say about this?
Because I can't...
Hang on, Ben, one sec.
No, I agree with you, Drew. I think it's very common for her to not be completely settled about how she feels about her sexuality. This is a brand new topic for her. It's a real emotionally charged topic. It's something really important, and I think it's great that she's able to talk to you about her ambiguity, her uncertainty. So that's a real good start, and I think that's a sign of a healthy relationship, that you guys can talk about it and don't rush the outcome. It will I'm sure, become obvious over the course of time.
Dr. Bruce, as a gynecologist, do you offer a discount for lesbians?
Okay.
I mean, they're not getting the intercourse, you know, so things aren't being jostled around quite as much. It's not as much reason to go to the gynecologist, you know, and I would think they'd need a little more incentive to bring these lesbians in. I mean, you say when you become sexually active, that's when you should go to the gynecologist, but does that include lesbians?
Yes, all women.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why lesbians?
Well, the only reason that women come to see the gynecologist is not just because they might have gotten a sexually transmitted disease or become pregnant. They also need an exam to look for any kind of problems they might be having. Women can still get infections from other women.
But as a rule, like, okay, don't take this the wrong way.
Oh, God. What's
Let me ask this important question.
Oh, I'm sure.
Could you look at a vagina that had been involved in heterosexual relationships for like a good 30 years and then look at a lesbian vagina for 30 years and see the difference? You know what I mean? One looks like it's been, worn out a little bit or been,
I'll predict he's going to say no.
Used a little more. You think you would tell the difference?
No.
No difference there.
One may have had a baby, and then you could tell the difference.
That's what I was saying. I mean,
And there are lesbian couples that have babies, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right and it's wrong all at the same time.
Let's go to calls.
All right. But you don't see lesbian wouldn't come in as much, would she? You think so?
No, they need to come in, too.
I disagree. I think they're, no.
You think they come in more?
I have some lesbian patients that are very fastidious about their care.
Yeah.
Appropriately fastidious.
Yeah. It's got to be kind of icky for you to be poking around down there. Huh?
No.
Don't think that's weird?
God, you really are homophobic, aren't you?
Well,
I've been defending you as just sort of actually
all right, but let's
homophilic.
Let me be honest. Let's be honest. Let's put all cards on the table here. 3/4 of lesbians are lesbians because some uncle went poking around down there at some point, around their 5th birthday anyway, right? So now you got some other guy poking around down there, and it's a little weird for them. You know what I'm saying?
I've not encountered that.
Thank you.
No, I'm not.
No,
you may
both
have
nodding their heads. I know.
No, you may have a point that may be out there, but I have not encountered it.
It's out there. Seriously, half of lesbians have had somebody tamper around with them, right? We've done this show long enough. Natalie?
Yeah.
You're 20.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I want to ask Dr. Bruce what I can do for chronic yeast infections.
Chronic or recurrent?
Well, they don't seem to go away, and they just give me suppositories over and over.
Yeah, that's a very common problem, and it's a very uncomfortable one. The first thing I like to do when I see someone with this kind of a complaint is I want to make sure, first of all, it's really yeast, because
sometimes it's bacterial, but a lot of times they say it's the yeast infection.
Yeah, I would make sure you're going to see a gynecologist. I'm not tooting the horn of the specialty I'm in, but frankly, seeing someone else who's outside the specialty, occasionally they'll miss the diagnosis, and then it just complicates things. So first of all, we want to determine if it's truly yeast. And then there are some real particular problems that occur that make women more prone to yeast, frankly, if a woman is diabetic. If you're okay.
I do use steroidal inhalers.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
For asthma?
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there like a pill? I mean, because I have to fight with them to even get an appointment now because they just want to tell me to take.
Also, have you tried any of the new what are called phosphodiesterase inhibitors like Accolade or Singulair?
No, there was another one I asked for, and that was just like a one. Oh, you mean for my asthma?
Yeah.
No,
because that might reduce your need for the corticosteroid inhalers.
Accolade or
Singulair.
So that would be a good place to start. The other thing that's typically recommended is to make sure you're not eating a whole lot of sweets.
Really? What's that do?
Well, somehow it seems to promote the growth of yeast. Another common problem with chronic yeast infections is that they never quite get treated adequately, and so you have to make sure you use the treatment for the full length of time. And then if I can determine that it's a chronic problem and it's not responding to the usual 7-day therapy, then sometimes 14 days is required.
All right.
My experience is that suppositories sometimes don't dissolve all the way and get it way up inside. Sometimes the cream is better for some women. Is that...
I haven't found that to be the case, but it makes sense. There are a lot of minor treatment failures that women can get. There are also some resistant forms of yeast.
Drew, now we're going on another yeast lap.
Well, we got to go to break.
Do you understand what you do when you do that? We have to reset the yeast clock again. Now we got someone on hold here for 86 minutes.
Right.
Michael?
Okay, Adam.
Okay, well, don't blame me because our Tardo listeners can't respond. Michael, you're 14. Now look at him. He's sleeping.
Listen.
I knew I shouldn't have let you guys talk.
But he sounds like he's wheezing a little bit. His question was, whenever he takes aspirin, he gets weird hallucinations. And asthmatics get weird reactions to aspirin.
Oh, really?
So don't take any more aspirin, Michael. There we go.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll sink in. All right. So your yeast symposium put this poor son of a bitch right to bed.
Recommit to this show, will you?
All right. We'll do that after this.
Call 1-800-LOVE-191 to broadcast your problems to the public.
LoveLine will be right back.
The love and the line. Drew's he's punching his mic for the last time possibly tonight, right, Drew? All right, I want to thank Dr. Bruce Bekkar for coming in. Your guy's guide to gynecology. He wrote along with Uduwan. which really, and most people just must call him U-1, right?
U-1. Right. And you get Bruce at DrDrew.com. We'll be taking questions if you want to register there and send us questions for him. I will make sure he gets them and tries to respond to them.
All right. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for being so gentle with me, Adam.
It was fun and informative, just like you are to your patients. Now, you're welcome. We should have Dr. Bruce back every 6 years or something on a
cycle.
When does Haley's Comet come by?
Every Haley's Comet, that would be good.
Right. Okay. No, seriously.
I can fill in for him when I'm gone.
Fantastic. Yeah. He may be better than you, Drew. Certainly knows more about the crotch.
That.
So until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
Mommy! This has been LoveLine. The views expressed on LoveLine are not necessarily those of the staff, the management, or the sponsors of this radio station. And are probably not the views of Westwood One Entertainment. LoveLine is produced by Ann Wilkins Ingle. Now, please listen to this station longer.